You know you are someone who is intelligent, you are someone with great ideas, you are someone with value. But when it comes time to expressing your ideas or expressing yourself, your voice starts to become shaky. And then your face turns red. And then you rehearse the same sentence over and over again so you don't stutter. And over time, this becomes more and more debilitating because you end up getting passed up for promotion, or you go on dates and no one wants to date you. And it becomes this struggle where your self-worth erodes because you're having trouble expressing yourself, because you feel that people don't see you. And it's not because you don't have value, but it's because you don't know how to communicate your value with conviction. Hi, my name is Jasmine, and on this channel, we talk all about becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you absolutely love. Having a powerful voice is not reserved for the select few. It's not reserved for only CEOs, charismatic people, popular people, but everyone is born with this voice. So that's why in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to develop a powerful voice and a powerful presence. After you implement all of the tips and tools that I'm going to share in this video, no one will ever overlook you again. Here are all the video chapters, and you can find the video chapters in the description below. And if you are someone who is ready to do the real work, I'm not just talking about watching these videos, but actually transforming. I provide worksheets for every single one of my videos. In these worksheets, you'll find in-depth journaling prompts, as well as practical exercises to help you start removing your limiting beliefs and to write out an action plan so you can start living out as your highest self today. You can access these worksheets down in the description below. Now let's dive right into the video. The way that this video is designed is to show you the 4 tiers that are necessary in order to build a powerful voice. So let's start off with the very first tier, which is the foundation, which is your self-concept. Your voice is a mirror of your self-concept. Your self-concept is when you look in a mirror, who do you see? Not who your mom sees, not who your teacher sees, not who your friends see, not what the internet sees. But when you look at yourself, when you think of yourself, what do you see? And what do you experience? While a lot of experts may say, just fake it till you make it, right? That's what everyone does. But you can't fool yourself, because your self-concept is a reflection of how safe you feel, how worthy you feel, how much space you're allowed to take up, or whether your nervous system believes that you are deserving to be heard. When you're transforming into a more powerful voice, it doesn't start with just those small changes, but it comes from shifting your self-concept. While the surface level issue is having a weak voice, the deeper issue is the fear of visibility, the fear of judgment, the fear of being seen. So let's talk about becoming the untamed version of yourself. I want to show you where these fears came from. So when I was a kid, I went to the circus for the first time, and I saw a bear riding a bicycle and a tiger jumping through hoops. And both animals were listening to the commands of their trainer. Turns out these 2 animals were born in captivity, and they were born in the hands of man. So when they grow up and they go through training, circus training, they develop these skills of riding bicycles and jumping through hoops. Like, that is incredibly unnatural for a bear and a tiger, because these 2 animals are very destructive, very dangerous in nature. But the most unfortunate thing is that they've never experienced the wild. They never learned what it means to trust their instincts, to hunt, to roam free, because all that they've been taught is to be good girls and good boys. Because whenever they did something bad, right, whenever they lashed out or bit someone, then the trainer would punish them. But every time the animal was doing something good, right, they would reward that animal with a treat. And through this process of domestication, the bear and the tiger learn that they need to act small, that they need to be subservient, that they need to be quiet in order to be loved, in order to be accepted. But have you ever wondered, what if the tiger and the bear knew their true instincts, their true nature? What if they finally realized that they can be untamed, that they can rip the trainer to shreds and roam free? And we need to see ourselves the same exact way. Because if we've had parents that were overbearing, taught us to be small, to be good, we develop that as our self-concept, that we need to be this way in order to be safe, in order to be heard, in order to be loved. When a bear and lion finally trust their own instincts, they become untamed. And when they are untamed, they are bold, they are courageous, they're strong, they're authentic. So let me bring this question back to you. Are you currently allowing yourself to be untamed? Or are you simply just doubting yourself, beating yourself up for not being perfect, when building a powerful voice doesn't require you to be perfect? But the first step is learning that you have this ability to be this bold version of you by unlearning this domestication that you went through. A quick note, every time you feel any sort of self-doubt, any sort of self-criticism, or if you feel that you're being cringe in this moment or not socially acceptable, that is the domestication voice speaking back to you. It's not your real higher self. It is simply the domestication process of keeping you small that is telling you all of these negative things so you go back to being small. So whenever you notice yourself self-criticizing, notice what your ego is trying to do to you in order to keep yourself back into the smaller box. This story was such a massive breakthrough for me because I realized that the power of my voice and the power of my presence has nothing to do with changing yourself or building on top of myself, but it's about letting go of those old programs so you can start revealing yourself. The second layer is certainty in your voice. If you don't sound certain, people are not going to believe you. And there comes with that level of self-belief, but how do you sound certain? Certainty comes with a variety of factors. The first being how you end your sentences. I remember when I was first interviewing for one of my dream jobs, they were asking me what my dream salary was. And I felt a lot of imposter syndrome because I felt like I shouldn't be there, I'm not qualified for this job. And when she asked me that question, I answered 80,000? And I said it with a question mark. And as I was saying it, I was like, oh God, what did I just do? And it makes you sound unsure, especially in a negotiation. And I'm sure when the interviewer heard me say 80,000 with a question mark, she was probably like, she doesn't sound sure of herself. She doesn't sound like she feels like she's worthy of that. So you need to be so conscious of how you're ending your sentences. Yes, you may still feel imposter syndrome. Yes, you may still feel unconfident. Those are still emotions that you can feel internally. But if you do find yourself and being aware of yourself being particularly unconfident, you need to be aware of how you end your sentences. So if a sentence is meant to end with a period, you better end it with a period going downward. The second thing is to speak with a lower tone range. So at a comfortable lower tone range, I'm not talking about
speaking like a man.
But if you want to come off as more powerful, you need to lower your vocal tone range because this helps you sound more assertive and helps you sound more sure of yourself. People do not hear words, but they hear the certainty behind the words. You could have two different people saying the same sentence, one with this monotone, not really sure of themselves voice, versus someone with certainty, with confidence. They sound powerful. They sound sure of themselves. They sound assertive. Who are they going to listen to? They are presenting the same exact ideas. It's the second person. The second person is going to be recognized. The second person is probably going to get promoted. The second person is probably going to have a lot of dates. So think about how it's not about what you say. It's how you say it. It's the certainty behind their voice that sells people that they should trust you, that they should listen to you. Having a lower vocal tone range also helps you focus your attention on speaking from the diaphragm rather than speaking from the throat. If you're only focused on the throat, you're gonna sound like a chipmunk and you're gonna sound really unsure of yourself and you're gonna start talking really, really fast because you feel like you need to. But if you speak with your diaphragm, there's more power back to it. So speaking from the diaphragm is speaking from a place of strength. In this next tier, we're going to be talking about the power of your breath. And I know it sounds simple, but I want to demonstrate with you what this means. This video is not brought to you by IKEA, but this is the only sheet of paper that I have in my apartment. What does this paper sound like without anything? Without any sort of effects, it sounds like nothing, right? But as soon as wind starts blowing onto the sheet, right? This is going to sound. But if there are even more powerful winds, very powerful winds, what is that going to sound like? Right? It's going to go even louder. This is the exact representation of what is happening with your vocal cords. Because your vocal cords only give you sound when there is air going through. if there's no air going through, there's going to be no sound. The way that we enunciate is through our mouth, right? Through our teeth, through our tongue. But that sound, that power, we're talking about power right now. It comes from wind. It comes from air. So if you want to develop a more powerful voice, the solution is that you need more air. So that's why I talked about the power of speaking from the diaphragm. But power can only come from a relaxed body. Your most powerful voice only comes when your body is relaxed, when your nervous system is relaxed. When you're tense, when you're anxious, you tend to forget to breathe. Instead, you hold your breath. If you've ever noticed yourself being anxious and worried, you hold your breath, you breathe in, and you kind of keep it there, right? But to have a powerful voice, speak from the outflow. Try that. Speak as if you are speaking with a sigh. Another thing is that when you are tense and nervous, that energy gets emitted and other people feel that intense energy and then they start feeling tense too. But when you notice someone who's charismatic, who's fun and genuine, they are often relaxed. They're authentically themselves. They're open, right? There's no tension. So tension is what restricts the flow, but having a relaxed body is what will create that power that you'll need to have a powerful voice. The very last tier is vocal variety. Have you ever spoken to someone with a very monotonous tone and they're saying, I'm super excited to be here. I'm loving this city. I'm currently in Toronto right now and I'm having a freaking blast. Are you having a blast? You sound like you're bored. You sound like you're tired. Being someone of power means that your voice also has variety. Have you ever heard of a song? Well, for example, techno. Quite frankly, I'm not really a huge fan of techno, but I know that there are some techno fans out there. So if you are, drop a comment down below. But techno, to me, is quite boring because it would be 5 minutes of like constantly. There's no buildup. There's no change. There's no feeling. There's no emphasis on emotion. Speaking is the same exact way. Speaking is an art. Because if you don't have variety in your vocal tone, you're going to kill attention. You're going to lose people. People are going to stop listening. People are going to tune out. People are going to think of other things. And they're not going to listen to what you have to say. The best songs have pace, pitch, rhythm, pauses. And so do the greatest speakers. They know that they need to have some sort of variety in their speaking in order to captivate their audience. So here are some tips to add more variety to your voice. The first thing is to add emphasis with emotional words. I am really excited to start this new job. That moment had genuinely changed my life. See that there are these emphasis words that show you how much of an impact and emotion that comes with that word. The second tip is to speed up during excitement. When you're sharing something exciting or when you're sharing a very fascinating story where there's excitement built up in that story, you can start speaking a little faster. And you can say, I ran to the mailbox and I opened up that letter and I saw those words. Congratulations, you are in. And using this way to share your story, to add a little bit of kind of that uphill climb, that excitement, just that different rhythm will help you create more dimension in your story and in your speech. You can speed up when the emotion of the story has tension, anticipation, excitement, any sort of intensity during that story, you can kind of speed it up. Now, the third and final tip is the slow down and pauses. And this is so undermined. I think a lot of people are very afraid to slow down when they need to or pause when they need to. Because we are in this digital age in social media where the types of content that you watch are so fast-paced, so quick. If you're not catching people's attention span within the first second, you're done. So people get used to this dialogue where you're constantly talking really fast without breathing. But if you are sending an important message across, you need to be okay with slowing down and pausing when you're making a point. So social media is designed to kind of cut up these videos. So you kind of cut out any sort of breathing time, any sort of time where you're thinking, which is unrealistic. You as a human being should not be speaking that way. But notice when you have this expectation, because the more social media that we consume, the more Instagram, TikTok, I'm specifically talking about short form, so keep watching this video. This is long form, so this doesn't count. But if you are watching short form content, you'll find that a lot of these videos are so quick. So notice how this expectation or this habit of watching short form has impacted the way that you speak. Pausing draws people in. Pausing allows people to dissect and understand what you've just said. If you kept rambling over and over again, you don't give people the space to actually think about what it is that you just said. And I know sometimes it's uncomfortable to speak and then kind of wait, kind of pause a little bit, and then make your point. But trust me, that is going to draw people in, because that perfect balance of silence is also incredibly powerful and incredibly necessary. Now, we've reached the end of this video. I hope this video brought you clarity around how to become your most powerful self. And keep in mind that just changing one thing isn't gonna cut it. You're gonna have to implement all 4 tiers to be able to become powerful and to sound powerful. And if you want to implement everything that I've taught in this video, then check out my worksheets down below. And if you are on the journey of becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you love, check out my channel, because I make a ton of videos about self-worth, relationships, love, money, career, literally all things high value women energy. And if you like this video, I highly recommend you check out this video over here. This video has been such a hit because it shows you how to become your most eloquent self. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!